Zimbabweans, my brothers and sisters, once again, we talk about the fate of Zimbabwe. I want to invite you to look into the future of Zimbabwe through the lenses of my eyes so that you can enrich the texture of the appreciation of what is possible, what Zimbabwe can be, and what we should focus on. I want to invite you to look at Zimbabwe as a project, of driving this project, of executing this project that is supposed to take the Zimbabwean people from a third world nation to a first world nation. I want us to look in the past 40 years and say, what have we done? What have we accomplished? And say, in this first attempt, we have failed. I want us to understand that it is important what a nation does within an interval of time of 40 years. The first 40 years has failed. In the same 40 years, China has done great things and has become this pseudo story of success as if it's a monopoly. But the principles are the same. It is important what you can do in the next 40 years. And I'm saying to you, in the struggles that we have, we are the help that we are looking for. We are the power that we need to drive things. We are the change that we need to be. There's no one coming from the international community. There's no one coming from outside. There's no one coming from the politics who can help us. We had all our hope on Chamisa, but Chamisa is no longer the guy, is no longer the person, is no longer the leader that can take us there. Chamisa is running around like a headless chicken. His quiver is empty. He has lost the political game. He doesn't understand the science of change, that you cannot go into the future with an old system, with an old people that has an old psychology and who will not go into the future. That is the science. You cannot do that. You can't dialogue with killers and murderers and still think you can make progress. Chamisa has lost momentum. You can't partner with Mbeki, you can't partner with Sadak. They support ED, they support the revolutionaries. They are sellout to the economic revolution and the transformation not only of Zimbabwe and Africa. We need to move away from all these forces and release ourselves into the future. We are the help that we are looking for. We are the change that we need. We need to move away from this political state into an economic state. We need to drive a new idea, a new vision. Zimbabwe, $1 trillion nation in 40 years. That is the science. Is doable. All the math backs that up. Because that's what I studied. Because I'm a transformational architect. And we can make Zimbabwe great. And by focusing on the vision, we create the capacity of the market to attract the capital. Not FDI, which will bring in corporations that will rule our market in the same way that colonialism ruled our market. We need money into the hands of the African so we can have this organic empowerment and explosion of our industry, of our dreams, of our hope into the future. In the same time, getting ourselves from this destitution and attracting our people back from the diaspora behind a vision and a mission, and take the last 40 years and look and say, we have learned some lessons. What can we do different? What can we do better? ED and Chamisa cannot take us there. And there comes a time when you have to grasp or hold the beast by its horns. We have China, who is trying to separate us from the West, which has been industrialized for 300 years. China, 40 years. We have a relationship with the West. They took 40 million people from Africa. They colonized us. We have equity there. We can catch that equity. Who should be a better partner? And then we have this Western mega juggernaut of all these parallel entities that are impeding Africa, impeding Zimbabwe, then helping it. Then we have these IMF and the World Banks that come into a nation and impede the nation to borrow more money so that they can put in the hands of their nation. That is the complex maze of systems that are holding Africa, are holding Zimbabwe. ED is a vacuous, vapid man with no probity. In other words, he's empty. In other words, he's stale. In other words, he doesn't have character. Chiwenga has showed his naivety. He can't even pronounce the words, and he can't even take care of his family. How can he lead a nation? It's time for us to look to a new voice. It's time for us to have a charge of our situation. There has to be someone who can take charge. There's somebody who can package Zimbabwe into Zimbabwe, make a business. It's all about business. It's all about economics. That's what matters 40 years from now. Somebody, Collins once said, you don't fail today. You don't fail in the future. You fail 10 years back. What we plan today is what we're going to be in 40 years. What we embrace today is what's going to be 40 years from now. Our nation is involved in an environmental global space that's always in a constant state of motion. We need a leadership that can understand the complexities, the speed and the connectivity, the intangibles and the tangibles that are an overarching force on our market and the social state of our people. It's time to take charge. That's why somebody says, when you dream, dream big. That's why shortly I'm going to announce a very wild dream about Zimbabwe, wild dream about Africa, and take charge. Somebody must take charge. My name is Hannington Mbayo. I'm a transformational architect.